guys, and I can finally recommend to you someone you can trust stateside to press your comics. He does phenomenal work. He's got some of the lowest prices I've ever seen and the fastest turnaround times that I've ever seen. All of those things combined, I've never been able to offer that or recommend that before, and so this is just an organic promotion because I'm just so happy to finally be able to have somebody I can trust that checks all of those boxes. One of the most rewarding parts of the hobby is when you can get some equity in your books by pressing and cleaning. And with somebody like Ron, who you're going to meet here today, you don't even have to do the work. He does the work for you. It's just such a cool part of this hobby. And so we're going to take a look at the actual books. We're going to enjoy his handiwork. I've got detailed pictures of the befores and afters, and you're going to get to actually meet him. But before we do, I want to remind you, pre-sales are live for the Bryce Comics Trading Pack. Stay tuned to the end of the video for more information on how you can get a chance at owning an Amazing Fantasy 15 and tons of other Mega Grails. In fact, 9 of them on this wall here behind me. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. I also want to remind you we have a monthly giveaway here at Bryce Comics YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win 2 slabs, including a CGC 9.9 this month. And if you head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you get first access to new collections. I've got a ton of awesome stuff on the way, and use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. That code is always active. I also have a bunch of trades available at brycecomics.com if you're looking to consolidate some of the stuff you can live without in your collection for a really expensive book. I've got a bunch of awesome options over at Bryce Comics. So lastly, if you're looking to sell your collection, I am always buying. Shoot me an email with a list of what you got to brycecomics@gmail.com, and I'll shoot you an offer and get you paid quick. Let's hop into the computer and meet Ron from Palm Beach Pressing. Ron, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's great to have you.
It's great to be here. I finally get a chance to talk to you in person, Brian.
So I have these 2 books, and we're going to do the quick little reveal, and then I just wanted to, let you plug your business, and we'll take a look at your website and let people know how to submit books. I was telling you off camera, it's really cool to be able to do something like this because you get to see the person, you get to see the whites of their eyes, and because when we're dealing with our collectibles and sending, really valuable stuff, you want to, it just feels better to have the personal touch. So, and that's how I met you, is you were on a different YouTube channel, and that was enough for me to just be able to send you my books. And now I'm just really glad that we're able to do this. So
I think I've known you a little longer than you've known me.
Yeah.
You probably 3-4 years ago at one, a bunch of times.
Right. Yeah. And you just came on the radar for, like a couple months ago for me. And
the Band-Aid thing, I think, kind of connected us, if I remember correctly.
Yep. All right, so here it is. Here's the big reveal. So I'll put up on the screen what it was before. This one was a Avengers 4 in a CBCS 5.0, and we just got it back, and we got
very nice
a 6.0. All right, I want to show you the before and after here. Here's the Avengers 4. It was a CBCS 5.0. And then here is the CGC ASM 121 in an 8.5 with white pages. So we lost the page quality designation, and that is one thing that you risk with cracking books out. Page quality can change every time you send it in. It's like page quality is also something that's subjective, and that was something that was surprising to me at first. I thought they would just like hold up a little card to it and say exactly what color it is, but it is subjective. And so I could send the same book back in and get a different grade and a different page quality. So going from white pages to off-white to white is not that big of a deal when there's a big bump like this, but it can be a big deal if, like, you went from a 9.6 white from a vintage book to a 9.6 off-white to white. So sometimes it is important to look at the page quality and realize that you do risk losing your white page designation every time you crack a book. But here is the Avengers number 4. This is the before. You can clearly tell that it has never been pressed. The main defect being this subscription crease down the middle. So back in the day, some people would get comics mailed to them and they would come folded in half. That's called a subscription crease. And so this one is just in such incredible condition. It's like it was mailed to them back in the 60s. They read it once and then stored it away to where it just maintained incredible beauty. Oh, this is a video. So here we go. you can see a little bit of issues like just all over the surface that can be improved. There's a nice before and after where you can see just how much that subscription increase improved. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. And just look at the colors on this thing. I mean, um, they're so vibrant. The color strike on this book is just really, really good. There was some issue going on there around the staple, and man, that improved tremendously. So here you can see like a bunch of finger bends and stuff on the back, almost completely gone. This is an issue that a color breaking thing that there's nothing a press could do to fix those things, and probably one of the reasons that it held it back to a 6.0 instead of like a 7. There's a pretty bad non-color breaking crease. You could still see it, but obviously it is greatly improved. It looks like a 9.6 with a subscription crease.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It just has that very light subscription crease. And I mean, the color strike on this, it is just so deep and beautiful, and it's just so clean now, too. So did you spend some time cleaning it as well?
Absolutely, yeah. And if I remember, I'm looking at my notes, it looks like there's a faint crease in the bottom right corner as well. But a 6.0 for any book with a subscription crease is about as good as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
awesome.
yeah, if it was like a heavy subscription crease, I mean, I think it maxes out at like a 5.0. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
6.0.
4.5, 5.0 is not uncommon.
So this one was an 8.5. And when I saw this, I didn't see, I didn't know like a clear path to success on this one. I just thought, man, I can tell it hasn't been pressed, right? And I was a little concerned that there might be some stuff that you'd see after it came out that I couldn't see through the case. But here it is. Here's the reveal.
Oh, that is nice.
9.4.
That is nice.
All right, so here we are on the ASM 121. This thing just had tons of pressable defects, and it was one that I just didn't know if it would still get an 8.5, because 8.5 is a tough grade. 8.5 is kind of like a catch-all grade. Sometimes there's a ton of things you can improve and you still get an 8.5. So I would have been happy just maintaining the 8.5, because I didn't really know what we were going to find when we cracked it out, because it looked so good in the case, and that's always the case, was when you crack it out you find a bunch of stuff you couldn't see before. So there you can see some defects there that were greatly improved. Yeah, that's a nice bump. 3 grade bumps on this. I'm incredibly happy with this. I thought there was a chance that it was just going to be the same grade, because sometimes, as you've probably experienced, you can improve a bunch of things on the book and still get the same grade. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of a defect that you're not going to get a higher grade. I mean, I see books that have real faint corner creases that you almost can't see, and they still get 8.5s on occasion, because that's as high as they'll go if they spot that light faint crease line.
All right, so I wanted to show this because this I thought is just a really cool touch that you provide in your services. You provide, and so this is an invoice, and on the invoice, it has your prediction for the grade. So this one you said 9.0 plus on the Amazing Spider-Man 121. So the Avengers 4, you had a 7.0 plus or minus, came back at a 6.0, and you probably said that because of how exceptional this looks. I mean, it does not look like a 6.0. It's just the edges are sharp, the spine is beautiful. I mean, there's like almost nothing with the spine. I thought this was a really cool touch that you do, and you put all of the actual, notes there on the thing. So that's really cool. It would have been $68. You were nice enough to do these for me for free of charge.
Yep.
Shipping to CGC with $100 insurance is $10.
Yeah, 35 is my highest rate. And there's one thing that I do that's a little different than other presses. Well, there's a lot of things I do that are different. I think one of them is you're always going to get an estimated grade so that the customer can make a final decision on if it's worth their needs to get the book graded. Some people might not see every defect that I see, and it's better to give them an idea, I think, what they should expect to get back. And then they can make a decision on if it's worth their investment, if it's what they were expecting. So, but my highest rate is $35 for any high value books, and I put my pricing based upon what the book's value would be at CGC 9.8. So even though your book was a 6.0 or I estimated that a 7.0, I think it's easier to determine instead of squibbling, quarreling over what the grade may be and what the value of that book is at that grade. The customer can know right ahead of time by looking up the FMV of a book at 9.8 and find out what the fee is going to be. So anything over $3,000 at 9.8 is a $35 fee. If it's vintages pre 1975 or $18, there's a $5 upcharge. If the FMV at 9.8 is over 750, so that would be $23. And then the highest value that I charge is 35. So moderns are at 13 with the same $5 upcharge. And if there's any moderns that go over the $3,000 limit, then that would also be at $35. So, which is still tremendously lower than anybody charges for vintage books, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so the max fee that you have for any
It's
book is
$35. Yep. You send me a Hulk 181, it's a $35 fee.
Jeez, that is incredibly reasonable. In fact, let's come over here and look at CGC's pricing just as a comparison.
Yep.
$12 for a modern book. Vintage is going to be 30, but that's only up to $400.
Right.
And then if it's $1,000, they charge $70. And then if it's over $1,000, they charge 4% of it. So if it was, a 9.8 Hulk 181, that could be like $3,000 or $4,000 that they would charge. The kicker for this is that you're not going to get any communication whatsoever from CGC. They're not going to do as good of a job. I don't think they clean at all.
I don't think they do either, and I think you get a one press solution.
You get a one press.
You get a press. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Oh, and it's 34 days according to their website right now.
34 days. And so if we hop over
my
here,
normal turnaround time is a week. 7 to 10 days is the norm. A week is about the low end, but that's about what I usually takes me to get a book done.
Unbelievable. So here it is. Here's the website, palmbeachpresser.com. Max charge $35. Current turnaround time 7 to 14 days. You're getting this personalized touch where you get an invoice that shows, a prediction of the grade. It's apples and oranges to anything else that I've ever seen. I just wanted to be able to recommend somebody because people ask me all the time, and I've had some bad experiences with pressers, and CGC, I would never recommend them, but now I finally have somebody who I can trust with my books, who has a reasonable fee, a super fast turnaround time, and does exceptional work. It's unbelievable. It's like, finally. Yeah. So thank you so much, man. 7 to 14 days. This might be a short-term thing, you guys. Once the word gets out about Palm Beach Presser, that I would expect it to go up.
It could be. And honestly, the turnaround time is the one thing that's not totally within my control. I mean, the communication level you get, the results you're going to get, and the prices you're going to get are totally within my control. Turnaround time, though, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I've consistently been able to keep it at 7 days to 10 days in most cases. So yes, I could get busier. That is a possibility, but I get 500 books done a month, usually every month, 500 to 600 books. So I've been able to do that. It is a 7-day-a-week job. I was retired and decided to do this as a hobby of my own for a while, and then I did a few other people's books, and next thing you know, they kept telling people, and then I put up an Instagram storefront, and now I have a little successful business. But I'm the only one that touches your books. I'm not training people. I have no intention to grow the business and put trainees on or anything. I do it because I appreciate that the customers appreciate what I do, and it's just direct communication. So it's just the epitome of a small business. I do it right here out of my office home. And I have no intention of getting bigger because I don't want to manage people. I don't want to manage the headaches. I left, my IT industry because I was tired of corporate world. So I'm glad I found something that I could do that's appreciated, and I enjoy it.
All right. Well, Ron, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for the exceptional work you did on these. And I can't wait to do some more. I can't wait for the next Crack Press success video to do with you. So thanks again.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with you more, Brian, as well.
All right, so let's come over to the computer and take a look at the potential profit for all of this. So the values of the books when I got it as a Avengers 4 CBCS 5.0, a CBCS gets about 10 to 20% less than CGC, and it's harder to move. So I valued that at $1,060. And then the ASM 121 and 8.5, very easy to price, was FMV of $490. And then the Avengers in a CGC with the 2 grade bumps, the value is about $1,700, and this is an exceptional copy for a 6.0. The color strike presenting, I mean, there's an argument to be made that it's worth more than that, but I'm just going to list it at $1,700. And then the ASM 121 had a huge bump from $490 to $1,150 in a 9.4. So the change in value was $1,300. They're worth $1,300 more. But one thing that you always have to consider is the cost of doing all this, and you need to actually calculate it out before you start the whole process. So his fee was $68. The CGC fee was $126 to have them both graded. So that's at the high value tier. I put them at the high value tier, and that's $70. But I'm just assuming that you have a 10% discount because that's like the regular membership has 10%. I actually get 20% off as a dealer, but most people get at least 10% off. So $126 for the grading fee, $50 in shipping all the way around. Me shipping it to Ron shipping to CGC, CGC shipping back to me. So shipping all around is $50. So the total cost was $224. So $1,300 more in value minus the cost is a potential profit of $1,056. And all I had to do was fill out a form. I filled out Ron's form, I filled out a CGC form and sent them to him, and I get the books back and they're worth way more money. I mean, this is so freaking cool. There's 10 burritos right there. That's 10 free burritos. Wait a second. That's 100 free burritos. That's 100 free burritos. Let's go. That's way better than I thought. Man. Obviously, you can see how exhilarating it is to have a successful crack press resubmit. The flip side is very true. It is painful to do a crack press resubmit and lose money, and I've had that happen many times as well. But once you start to get the hang of this thing, the losses are farther and fewer in between. And having somebody like Ron who will tell you the truth, an objective truth about the condition of the books, is a super valuable thing. You know, a lot of pressers aren't really interested in providing grade estimations. They're just like, I get paid to press the book. That's it. So at least with Ron, he's got way more of a personal touch on it. So massive shout out and thank you once again to Ron. Thank you to you for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. I want to run the clip real quick with more information about the Bry's Comics Trading Pack, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. Introducing the Bry's Comics Trading Pack, your chance to find a golden ticket redeemable for mega grails like Amazing Fantasy 15 valued at $14,000, a beautiful X-Men #1 and a CGC 4.5, Daredevil #1, Hulk 181, Giant Size X-Men #1, Journey into Mystery 83, Amazing Spider-Man #1, Avengers #1, Fantastic Four #5, Marvel Spotlight #5, and 10 golden tickets redeemable for a $500 gift card at bryscomics.com. Chase some of the rarest Marvel variants to date from renowned artists like In-Hyuk Lee on One World Under Doom #1, Sao Wee on New Champions #1, Ivan Tao on Deadpool Wolverine #1, David Mack on Ultimate Wolverine #1, and my personal favorite by the illustrious In-Hyuk Lee, Red Hulk #1. Every single book has a premium bag and board. Every single book has an individually numbered COA. There's 5 different variants for each piece of art. Each one has a trade dress limited to 1,500, a virgin limited to 1,000, and 3 special variants limited to 300 copies, 175 copies, and 26 copies respectively. Don't wait for the aftermarket and pay an inflated price. Secure your pre-sale pack today at bryscomics.com for only $64.99.